Good morning. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen, for being here this morning. My name is Jessica Dumas, and I'm going to take us through the agenda. Welcome to each of you on this really beautiful and very special morning. Welcome to honorable guests, friends, and family. Today we are commemorating the national historic significance of the former Assiniboia Residential School as part of the residential school system national historic event. The Assiniboia Residential School was a federally funded institution that operated in Winnipeg, Manitoba from 1958 to 1973. In July 2024, on behalf of the survivors and their descendants, the executive director of the Assiniboia Residential School Legacy Group requested that the history of the school be commemorated as part of the residential school system national historic event, which was designed in 2019. The commemorative plaque text presented to the Historic Sites and Monuments Board of Canada was co-developed by the Assiniboia Residential School Legacy Group and Parks Canada. I'd like to read you the land acknowledgement from the book Did You See Us? Reunion, Remembrance, and Reclamation at the Urban Indian Residential School. Here's the land acknowledgement. We acknowledge that we're on First Nations land, Turtle Island, inhabited by the First Nations from time immemorial. For thousands of years, First Nations people, the Anishinaabe, Cree, Dakota, Dene, Anishinaabe nations, walked and lived on this land and knew it to be the center of their lives and spirituality. The Anishinaabe call this land Manitowabi, the place where the Creator resides. We acknowledge that this became the homeland of the Métis people. We acknowledge and welcome the many people from countries all over the world who have come to join us, Turtle Island's First Nations, in calling this land home. We acknowledge that we're all now bound together by Treaty 1, signed by Theodore Fontaine. I'd like to recognize our guests of honor today. If you could please stand and wave if you're able to. Ben Carr, Member of Parliament, Winnipeg South Centre, welcome. Tony Kipling, Executive Director, Assiniboia Residential School Legacy Group. There she is. The Honourable Patricia Bovey, National Historic Sites and Monuments Board of Canada member for Manitoba and former Senator. And Andrew Campbell, Senior Vice President, Operations, Parks Canada. Welcome. I'd also like to recognize our Elder Mabel Horton, who will be sharing our prayer in just a moment. Elder Mabel, good morning. And also Weston Sutherland and Corey Ralph Whitford. Good morning. To get our ceremony started, I would like to invite now Elder Mabel Horton to share our opening prayer.
Yugosani for the introductions and welcome to everybody. Mabel Horton Tigawin, Miti tu Kunu Iskun Sigason, Mr. Wayasi Gochi, Bisintoti. That's my usual introduction to myself and my fellow Assiniboia when we introduce ourselves formally in times like this. And I'd like to welcome you all as a co-president of the Legacy Group that have arranged this for every year since 2017 we gathered, and to welcome all my former students, our fellow students that were with me, and the ones I saw, if you can wave your hand or get up if you can. Matilda, Roulette, Delphine Houle, Rundle, my old friend there, I mean really old. And her husband Dave Rundle, and Bill Morasti is here somewhere. Where are you, Bill? Oh. Over there.
We have someone's pointing to.
Okay. And Dorothy James Cook, there she is. So last year there was quite a few of us, but This year, the number diminished. Some went to Ottawa, including our co-president, Betty Ross. I guess her film is being premiered today at the Ottawa, I guess, the grounds, and called Sugar Falls. Anyway, I could go on. I better do my prayer. You don't have to stand up. Because mä nohtenaan, knas kun pitää nohtea piak. Mistä ei tiedä maakuman kaikissakao. Avasessa kohdassa, ikä kohdassa piki huitsik. Aga nuska jäätsik, mistä ei tiedä, aga niikä. Mistä mä olen avasessa, nuska kaikissakao, missä ujumakin tässä kiinau. Mistä ei tiedä, aga mitä hitinään minä. Ja oikein jokakin kiihtää kaikki pispati koagoma. Haatit miitsit niuani anak, aga tahtovissakaan minä niuani anak kiten niuak. Aga minä nosin mistä mä ja niikäli kaikki teet, aga ei ole uikmaakana kepsut hajatewa Norbert Ross, aga uikmaakana Claire nipenäkintä. Ikiwa niäkit niissä just paljon. Koska mä nohteinaan, että kun itse mitään, koska mä tiedän, koska tispati kawassa kohdassa. Creator, I want to thank you for being here, seated in this beautiful ground that has been gathered here many years before we did, and as fellow students here. Many of us cannot be here. Many have passed on to the spirit world. Some are still here and to be acknowledged. We also pray for the children all across Canada from the residential schools that never made it home, and for the ones facing challenges today and for the future generation. We thank you this day, and thank everybody here. Ikasani, oho. Okay, thank you.
Miigwech Ekosani, and thank you to Elder Mabel Horton. I would now like to invite the Red Buffalo Singers to play an honor song. And at this time, I'd like to invite Ben Carr, Member of Parliament, Winnipeg South Centre, to present them with an offering of tobacco. During this honor song, we kindly ask those who are able to stand to please stand. Thank you. Thank you so much, the Red Buffalo Singers. I'd like to welcome to the mic Ben Carr for his remarks. Did you know that you were going to be playing the drum this morning?
Good morning. Jessica was just asking me if I knew I was going to be playing the drums. I did not. So it was nice to just keep my eye on the pulse there, but truly an honor and a privilege. Thank you very much to the drum group for allowing me to participate. Good morning, everybody. Bonjour à tous, Tanzi, Boujou, Elder, members of the Assiniboia Residential School Legacy Group, and honored guests. Truly a privilege to be here on behalf of the Government of Canada. I'd like to start by recognizing that we're on Treaty 1 territory, which is the homeland of the Anishinaabe, the Cree, the Anishinaabe, the Dakota, and the Dene peoples, and the homeland of the Red River Métis. And of course, important always to recognize that our water is sourced from Shoal Lake 40 First Nations. On behalf of the Government of Canada, it's truly a privilege to be here today for what is always on September 30th an important day, but with an added component here this morning. Au nom du gouvernement du Canada, c'est avec une profonde humilité et une immense gratitude que je m'adresse à vous aujourd'hui, conscient du privilège que j'ai d'être ici sur la terre, partager ce moment avec chacun d'entre vous, alors que nous commémorons l'histoire et l'héritage de l'ancien pensionnat d'Assiniboia. Today is the unveiling of a very important set of plaques that will recognize the site of the residential school system as a national historic event. And I wanted to speak personally for a few moments about this space, these plaques, and the wonderful work that Tony and others have been doing for many years on our behalf. And at a time when our history is becoming more and more distant, and geopolitics and societal divides and other factors are making us less connected with one another, plaques such as this play an increasingly critical role, and the memory of sites like this play an increasingly important role. When I was a kid, I grew up just a few blocks from here, and not only did I have very little knowledge of residential schools or the history of Indigenous peoples in Canada, with the exception of a little bit that I would have received as a student in the public education system, I also had no Indigenous friends. And it wasn't until I was 15 years old that I actually had my first real Indigenous friend. And it turns out that she is now the National Chief of the Assembly of First Nations, and that's Cindy Woodhouse. And it was through my friendship with Cindy and through an opportunity to visit her reserve in Fairford and meet with her family — her father was the chief at the time — that I was able to start to understand the deep, deep impacts that 150 years worth of racist, colonial, paternalistic policies had had on Indigenous peoples in this country. But I was very lucky and privileged that I had access to people like Cindy. Not everybody had those opportunities, but today what's different is that when my soon-to-be 5-year-old niece, who's here today, walks by this school, she will have an exposure at a very young age to an understanding of our history and its importance. She will have an understanding of her responsibility as a Canadian to move forward in the spirit of truth and reconciliation. And if we go just a few blocks further, and we made an announcement just about a month ago at the site that many of you know, Naweodena, which now when you drive down Taylor and you drive down what used to be the Kapyong Barracks on Kenaston, you see the proud symbolism of the Treaty 1 Consortium and the history of Indigenous people standing tall and proud as a very important fabric of this country. In fact, it's the largest urban reserve in Canada, located just a few blocks from here. So when I look at the last number of years, I see the unbelievable progress that we have made as a country on this path of truth and reconciliation. And I want to take an opportunity to recognize some of the giants that have come before us, including, I think it's always very important to mention Murray Sinclair and the work that he did around the residential school file, ensuring that the country understood where we had been and where we needed to go. Of course, we lost Murray recently, but his memory lives on in this. And I also want to take an opportunity, while here on behalf of the Government of Canada, to thank Tony, our elders, and all that have been involved in keeping this particular residential school's legacy and memory alive. I think it's quite fitting that here in the south central part of Winnipeg, where most people growing up at the time had no idea what was going on, that now there are permanent reminders, not only of that history, but of the responsibility that we have to remember what occurred and to ensure that these mistakes don't happen again and that we move forward together as a country in a better place than we had for so many years. So with that, it's an honor to be here. Thank you very much to those who have taken time to be here with us this morning. I look forward to getting to connect with many that I haven't seen in some time, and to walk up to the commemoration that we have near Academy Road here, and to unveil the plaques together. But it's truly an honor, and I want to thank all of you for being here. And lastly, a big thank you to Parks Canada and to Canadian Heritage, who spearheaded on the public service side of things all of the processes that needed to occur in order for us to be here with these plaques today. So thank you, Buju Tansi. Thank you so much, everybody.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Jessica.
Thank you to Ben Carr for his very special and meaningful story, and for also accepting the opportunity to play with Red Buffalo singers. So thank you very much to Ben Carr. I would like to invite the Honorable Patricia Bovey, National Historic Sites and Monuments, Buffalo Red Thunder singers and dancers. So I was corrected, Buffalo Red Thunder. Thank you so much. And welcome Patricia Bovey, National Historic Sites and Monuments Board of Canada, member for Manitoba and former senator, to the podium. Welcome.
Thank you, Jessica. And to all our honored guests, MP Carr, Elder Horton, Jessica, yourself, Andrew Campbell, Tony Kipling, and all the members of the Residential School Legacy Group, I want to thank you and say that I believe this is a truly important day, not only in the history of this place as we move forward, but in the history of Winnipeg, history of Manitoba, and the history of Canada. So merci beaucoup, c'est un honneur d'être ici avec vous aujourd'hui. I'm delighted to be here today to mark the history and importance of remembering the horrors of the former Assiniboia Residential School, the horrors that were dealt to so many Indigenous peoples, its survivors, its students, its teachers, and families. To do so on Truth and Reconciliation Day is particularly poignant, and it was an honor for me to be in the Senate of Canada as we voted to make Truth and Reconciliation Day the national holiday that it has become. So it's a real pleasure to be here and see it in action. We cannot turn the clock back, though. We cannot fix what's happened, but we can understand. We can reach out in true reconciliation and learn from those devastating years and try to ensure that such actions will never be repeated. My name is Patricia Bovey, and I do have the honor of being the Manitoba member of the Historic Sites and Monuments Board of Canada. Our board's work is an important part of Canadians knowing and understanding our history in every part of this country. Excuse me. Both the exciting and positive times and those that are anything but. Those that are challenging. Those that have left people with scars, like the events that happened here. This will take work and understanding by all Canadians. Like MP Carr, I too grew up near here, though long before you grew up near here. And I have to confess that I and the friends I went to school with did not know what was going on so close to our own home. And I'm truly sorry. We must mark these events as important not only to our past, but to today and for our future. And I want to thank the Assiniboia Residential School Legacy Group for all their work. This plaque unveiling, an important part of remembering, will be a constant reminder. The Historic Sites and Monuments Board, created in 1919, has members representing all provinces and territories. Our job is to advise the Minister of Canadian Heritage on the commemoration of nationally significant aspects of Canada's past. We respond to public nominations for people, places, or events to be declared a national historic significance. The more than 2,000 plaques, like the ones we're unveiling today, are a cornerstone of the federal government's effort to commemorate these parts of history, recognized as having national importance. Drawing attention to thousands of years of human history, they bear witness to Canada's defining moments, to human creativity and cultural traditions. Education and understanding are core to our knowledge of the truth, past and present, and become platforms for the future, guiding us to correct mistakes, deal with what has been overlooked, and cherish the strengths of people, places, and events. Education is crucial. The Honorable Murray Sinclair, my Senate colleague, in fact, he walked me into the chamber when I was inducted as a senator for Manitoba. Murray often said, as you know, education got us into this mess. Education will get us out of it. He also warned it will take time. And he said that museums hold true importance in ongoing education. He spoke to the Canadian Museums Association and he said, very poignantly, families go to museums together, they do not go to school together. So friends, events like today's, plaques like this, and museums like the National Indigenous Residential School Museum of Canada at the former Portage La Prairie Residential School are critically important. I want to close with several quotes from Elder Arthur Vickers, an artist of the Northwest Coast with whom I am currently working very closely. At his request, I have written a book about him and his art, which is now in the publication process, in which these quotes appear. The first is a powerful symbol of the eagle, and the second of the feather. Representing light and dedication, the eagle, as Arthur says, is, quote, the ruler of the sky. It can fly high and rise and soar above any storm, end quote. As you know, eagle down is used to purify rooms at special occasions. The eagle feather itself is a sign of honor, respect, and strength. As Arthur says, quote, the feather has two sides, a light side and a dark side, representing the past, good and bad, and the present, good and bad, as they will the future. The Creator gave us two eyes, one that sees bad things, the other only good. He gave us two hands, one that reaches out in kindness, the other strikes out in harm. He gave us 2 feet, one that leads us down the wrong path, the other that always leads us down the right one. He gave us 2 ears, one only hears bad, the other always good. He gave us a mind that gives us a choice every moment of every day to make the wrong decision or the right decision. End quote. Each National Historic designation bears witness to these critical events, adding to Canada's sense of identity and here to the rich Indigenous cultures and heritage, as we have seen with this wonderful honor song that we heard earlier. We must remember that the knowledge of our cultures is passed down through generations from grandparent to parent to child, and we are part of that passage. Let's listen. Let's see the truths and absorb the meaning of the feather. Let us make the right decisions. Thank you.
Thank you, Patricia. This water is for you all.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thanks.
Thank you so much to the Honorable Patricia Bovey for those beautiful and really kind words. I would now like to invite Andrew Campbell, Senior Vice President Operations of Parks Canada, to share a few words. And here's the water for you if you would like.
Thank you so much. Bonjour, bonjour, Tansi, hello. I'm super happy to be here today and deeply honored to be among survivors, to be welcomed so generously by the elder, by having other, being here with other dignitaries, members of the Historic Sites and Monuments Board, and certainly members of the community, but most importantly, again, the survivors. On behalf of Parks Canada, I'm certainly honored to be part of the commemoration of the Assiniboia Residential School and to be designating it as part of the Residential School System National Historic Site event. Au nom de Parcs Canada, je suis honoré de prendre part à la commémoration de l'école résidentielle Assiniboia dans le cadre de l'événement historique national sur le système de pensionnat. On this important day of truth and reconciliation, it's important for Canada to take to heart our responsibility to educate ourselves as Canadians about the Indian residential school system, its devastating impacts, and the importance of remembering this history so that these injustices are never repeated. Through commemoration, we can attempt in our way to honor the survivors, the families, and the communities that have been affected generation after generation. We have to acknowledge the lasting legacy of these events and commit to carrying the truths from the survivors and also from those who did not survive forward with truth, respect, and compassion. For Parks Canada, taking part in commemorations such as today's event is a step along the pathway of sharing the history of residential schools and acknowledging the lived experience of survivors and their descendants. They also reflect our responsibility to protect and present places of national historic significance, places that will tell the full story of Canada, including its worst chapters. In 2020, the Government of Canada recognized the national historic significance of the residential school system as a tragic, traumatic, and defining chapter in our history. To date, 5 former residential schools have been designated, and today we commemorate the Assiniboia Residential School. And also today in Quebec, we will be commemorating the former Amos Residential School. These designations put forward by local community members were made on the advice of the Historic Sites and Monuments Board of Canada. Commemorating the significance of the former residential schools through community ceremonies humbly responds to the Government of Canada, responds by the Government of Canada to Call to Action 79 of the Truth and Reconciliation Commission. We've already heard of the importance of Senator Murray Sinclair in that work. Today we are placing 3 plaques, which you can see covered before you, each representing the languages identified by the Assiniboia Residential School Legacy Group, headed by Tony, to commemorate this site. Sadly, the suppression of these Indigenous languages were an intentional act of the colonial policy enforced at the residential school. That's why it's so important that these plaques represent the languages spoken by the children when they arrived at the former residential school. Including these languages today is not only an act of remembrance, but also a powerful symbol of cultural resilience and reclamation, honoring the voices that were once silenced. On one plaque, you'll see English and French text. A second plaque is written in Cree and Anishinaabe. I always get this one because I want to say the other one. Anishinaabe. On the third plaque, you will find Dene, Anishinaabe, Moen, and Dakota. I'd like to thank the translators for their time and for ensuring these important words are shared in languages that should never have been forbidden. I wish to thank the residential school survivors who are here and who are not, who continue to share their life experiences and truths so that we can all learn from them. I also wish to thank the Assiniboia Residential School Legacy Group, and particularly Tony, for their work on this commemoration, and to the rest of you who are joining us here today. The role of these schools and their intergenerational impact must never be forgotten. Only by acknowledging the truths of the past can we move forward in a spirit of understanding, healing, and hopefully love. Thank you. Miigwech. Merci.
And this water is for you if you'd like to take it with you, because then I'll have
Thank
too
you.
many waters. Thank you. Thank you, Andrew Campbell, for those very important acknowledgements. And now I would like to welcome our final speaker for this morning, Toni Kipling. If she is hearing me, Toni? She knows she's on the way. She wrote the agenda. She is the Executive Director, Assiniboia Residential School Legacy Group. Welcome, Toni.
Thank you. Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for attending. I'm not normally good at these speeches here, so I'll make it quick and fast. I just want to say thank you to the elders and the survivors so much. There's been so much conversations that I've been having with my family over this past couple weeks, and how the eagle this morning keeps being brought up. My dad, when he did the pipe ceremony this morning, he carries the eagle pipe he got after a 7-day fast. So he did the prayers up at the monument this morning at 7:30, and because it keeps coming, my spirit name is actually Eagle Claw. So it's just like, wow, and eagle is for the teaching of love, and it's just having that pure, genuine love for each other in the sense of decency and respect, I think, is the goal. Just a lot of conversations with me and my family. My grandmother, if she didn't make one major decision back in the day, me and my whole family would not be here today. So I'm very grateful for the strength and the resilience of all the elders who survived. And, I pray for the souls and spirits of the youth and children who did not make it back. But I really am just so grateful for you guys. Like, thank you so much, survivors, for thriving and also still giving us that love. Like, to still be here and have this love, I am very grateful to be able to have it. So thank you all so much. And I really hope you enjoy your day. And I just really want to say I love you all. Okay? Thank you.
All right, thank you, Toni, for sharing that with us. At this time, I'd like to welcome Ben Carr and Elder Mabel Horton to the stage again, and they are going to unveil our plaques that will commemorate the national significance of this site and of this day. So Ben Carr and Elder Mabel, I invite you to the front. Congratulations and thank you so much. The 3 plaques feature 7 languages, Anishinaabe-Moen, Anishinaabe-Moen, Cree, Dakota, Dene, English, and French. In English, the plaque reads, Assiniboia Residential School, 1958 to 1973. More than 1,025 children from roughly 85 First Nations were forced to attend and live at this federal institution run primarily by the Oblates of Mary Immaculate and the Grey Nuns. They endured isolation at Assiniboia, which was first a residential high school and then a hostel after 1967. It was part of a failed national attempt to assimilate children and destroy their identity and cultures, impacting generations. The Truth and Reconciliation Commission described this policy as cultural genocide. Together, the children found strength to resist. Survivors and their families are reclaiming their identities, their cultures and their languages, communities and relationships with the land, while seeking justice and fostering awareness and remembrance. And I'd like to invite Ben Carr to the podium to read the plaque in French.
Plus de 1025 enfants d'environ 85 Premières Nations fréquentent de force cette institution fédérale et vivant isolés de leur. Gérée surtout par les Oblates de Marie Immaculée et les Sœurs Gris, ce pensionnat d'études secondaires devient une résidence après 1967. Il s'inscrit dans une tentative nationale infructueuse visant à assimiler les enfants et à détruire leurs identités et cultures, entraînant des impacts intergénérationnels. La Commission de vérité et réconciliation qualifie cette politique de génocide culturel. Ensemble, les enfants trouvent la force de résister. Les survivants et leurs familles se réappropriant leur identité, culture, langue, communauté et relations avec la terre, cherchant à obtenir justice et favorisant la sensibilisation et la commémoration. Merci.
Merci. Thank you, Ben Carr. Next, I'd like to welcome Weston Sutherland to read the plaque in Cree, as well as invite Ben Carr back to present him with an offering of tobacco.
Tansy Kakinaweo. Weston Sutherland Disinikasun. My name is Weston. I would just like to say first things first. I'm actually a speaker of Anishinaabe-Moen, but in my family, my grandmother is the one who taught me Anishinaabe-Moen, but she's also a speaker of Cree. So I've learned Cree for a few years, so I guess I apologize if I pronounce some things wrong. I'm more comfortable with Anishinaabe-Moen, but for my grandmother and other Cree speakers, I'd like to, very honored to be able to read this for you all today. Okay, so, Awase ta 1025, Awase sak, Wayash 85 nistam, Oskane sewena, Kitashoa tana. Takano wanawak che tute chek nesta che wichi chek ana anta kicho kimawe kaishi tashekaneok kaki panitwa chek menotoe mene o mai kate kwanawema nesta kawapisai se chek ayami askwe wak kikakwa takai nena mawak ay kipis kitas kitnichek anta Assiniboia Kakinistam kaki shetaniwa kai spakiskino mateo gamiknesta kadiahta kaipesh wakim we kamo wat kiskwa 1967 komat kai ki Yaishe panecheka kikute tanewak misewaiska mekchekek waska betecheka wase shaknestache nishawanache tanewanekek awaine kanoeche nesta otas kanai waisewinawa o ayo tameskoka cheknekan kepechitaneochek anemat anematepwewen nesta kepechekewen kamamoweparecheke kwaiwak o mano nuso que chequewen que yapatak che ne panatewak e taskaneu sewen mamoe oko wasesak que mis kamoak masko sewen no cheke maseta chek kakisha poska kek nesta ope we kotai we so winawao we wiki wai o te namoak a wai ne kano wichik o taskane se wene wau o te she ki show wai wina wau mamoe ta she ke wena nesta wichai witowena a skik eke ite kai me kwach aina tawa pa ta kik ka ki she mino panetane chik nesta chike misawe panet Tua chik kiske tamo wene no nesta kiso kiske so wai wene no. Ekwasane, thank you.
Ekosani Weston, thank you so much. And if your grandmother could hear you speaking that language here in this space, she would be so proud of you. So thank you, Miigwech Ekosani. Next, I invite Corey Ralph Whitford to the stage to read in Anishinaabe Moen. And again, I would like to ask Ben Carr to present him with an offering of tobacco.
Jessica, thank you for the honor. I don't always come to public events. Now that I'm a former celebrity, I bring a lot of laughter and kindness to a room wherever I go. Must be because of my spirit name. He who brings the sound of a good day. Anishinaabe. Ka menweg is wed ndigo. Omaskus nendo dem. Mawe dena magan. Sandy Bain donchi. Mama Barbara is in a caso. Shun Baba I. Shiraku is in a canon. Ralph Dash is in a caso wakigo. Ni wukum, ni Baba mamain. Victoria Ban Wingi is in a caso. She wanted Miss Show Miss San Jonas Iban Giz in a caso. Up chin and get chin and them, ni boyan ma gaining yell my, we took cause one ma bangi. Ma mais ma yakinamuazo, 1967. The Beatles, Burton Cummings is the shot, the Devrons. We tajima kot David, no, the Beatles help me. Kinege we jikito. Up Joey Menandanche, each and a gamot ni ma mais. Milma eat a wakinamua. Azwa ma 1967, and Ganabich wins. So I think it turned into a hostel because of my auntie's influence. She was a musical lady and very creative, and so I think they said, we're not really beating down these native people. And this one girl here is becoming a musical icon here at this school. Gaijigi bitnamuat, yeah, residential school. Hamsa tashnito ganeduk, dinema ganeduk. Pichiganing gang gitchina and the momaria, anibrayan manungum. I want to thank everyone who brought me here, all my failures. Thank you for all my failures, for bringing me to this moment. When my auntie left from dementia, she was born in 49, came to school here when she was 18, 1967. And went back to Sandy Bay and raised 13 kids, including me. And, that was so awesome. I want to thank Father Robideau. He was the man. I read Theodore's book, and Theodore says, "Ai kita Theodore, let's feed these children well. Let's make sure that they're well fed." And several times when he did that, they got mad at him for spending way too much money on food. So in that way, I'm very grateful to be here and share the language. This language was taught to me by the woman who went to school here. So I'll give it a good go. Ahamsa, we chi shikwe when you wake chani michigana manungam. Awashime Oweminik 1025. Abinunchiak kaunji what 85 ishkuniga ni kang. Ki kiche ninji mindim. Abinunchiak. Ki jinawak shagana shiwa king. Wem tawuji katibandang. Katibandang. Oblates of Mary Immaculate, Minaw Grey Nuns. Ki mamanjigo aog Assiniboia, Meowenitum. Ishpig so wigamik nagach itash ki inabatat. Nibe wigamik, 1967. Ki kakwe ango awak shi Anishinaabe wiwat kawin dash ki jise sinun. Kakinakegu ki kakwe utapena a mawak eje Anishinaabe wiwad. Me Truth and Reconciliation Commission ki kakwe angwane katene eje Anishinaabe witwawat. Kakina abinunchiak ki inendamuk kawin owe ta ejese sinun. Kagi shabwi wat ke unigi ku mag nungum tash animukinagut Anishinaabe inatiziwin ijitwa winan wewene utabitana wa kitaki minan kanawa ba mawag ka ki majitchige wat takone will inini wag we chitwa wag mina wewene chikiken dagwak kagi ije manikamigak. Aho. Gigas kitun.
Miigwech to Corey Ralph Whitford. All right, welcome to those who are just joining us. We've had some people come onto the property since we've started. I'd also like to welcome the MLA for Tuxedo, Carla Compton is here. If she could wave, Carla. Oh, there, welcome. And at this time, we'd like to invite all of our guests of honor to take part in a group photo with the plaques. So if your name has been on the agenda, we invite you to the space for the plaques. Okay. Also, welcome to the students of the residential school. If you're here, we welcome you up to the front to take a photo with the plaque. If you need some help, let us know, but you're welcome to come to the front. Thank you so much and congratulations. I wanted to acknowledge that as we had our survivors who attended this school up at the front taking a photo with the plaque, that there was a lot of laughter and giggles with them celebrating, but it's also such an emotional event and so much to acknowledge. So I just wanted to take a moment to thank them for their kindness and for their love, for their forgiveness, and all of that is leadership. And I'm so grateful to see that. So thank you so much to each of our survivors and to everyone celebrating here today. We will be winding up the official ceremony part of this morning, and I'll invite Elder Mabel Horton to the mic to close us out. But we do have a few other items to share. We'll just have her do our closing prayer, and I'll share the rest with you in a moment. Thank you.
That was really great. Really enjoyed the speeches and the feelings that went behind it, and the reconciliatory mode that we're in, and truly appreciate the plaques that will commemorate what we've been through here, and the languages. We've worked quite hard actually to get that, and I'm so happy we could see the day that it happened since we left this land that we really love. Anyway, I'll close, and maybe I'll also say a quick prayer for lunch while we're doing that. Ikusmano tainan kanaskumit nan kagimama weak. Imiduntat into tatuak koyasage gota kiski tamak tansagi pispati goak. Igawe gatsawan kiskisiak. Yagon naskumon gatigi weak. Kopmago asage hako. Ikusani mantuk naskumit nan. Creator, we also want to thank you for this special gathering to help us remember and to keep remembering what we had gone through with these beautiful plaques that have been created and made for us and by us. We really appreciate it. And right now, too, I'll say a prayer for our meal and then pray for the people that had prepared. Ikusmano tainanganas kumitnan mina umagati mitsuak kawitsi ko ak nyawinak ntatsa ko nak ako mamito tsiganan ikusani. Oh. Okay.
And just before we welcome Buffalo Red Thunder to close us out with a song, I just want to let people know that there is a sacred fire at the, I believe this way. Tony, if you could help me for a second. The sacred fire is this way. She's talking. Does anybody know? Okay, just to make sure. There is tobacco available, so if you'd like to take some tobacco and say a prayer, you can do that by the fire. We will have lunch ready at 11 o'clock. And if you are an elder here who would like some help with your lunch, just let us know. I was going to say, let someone in an orange shirt know that you need some help, but that'll probably work. And to end this ceremony, thank you again for having me for this really beautiful and special day. I'm really honored to be here today with you. And with that, I'd like to invite Buffalo Red Thunder to share a closing song. And if you're able to stand, I invite you to please stand. And that wraps up our official program. So please enjoy the rest of the day, and lunch will be served right away. And although that's the end of our program, I did want to invite any residential school survivors that are here today, if you'd like to come up to the mic. I believe our cameras will be put away, and we have some time set aside that we'd love for you to take the opportunity to come and share if you choose to do so. While we still have people in the audience, you're welcome to come up. All right. Good morning. Good morning. Welcome.
Her name is Dorothy Ann Crate. She used to be Dorothy James.
Dorothy Ann Crate, who nee James, welcome to the mic.
Okay. Oh. Talsig na naskubit na tagakanon to temak. Tabenis tamen opposinin. You know this whole field here? I played ball in this field. I was here 1958 to 1962. I was the first one that was here. And I'm only, I name it no new shop. You could figure that number. You come and tell me how old I am. You know, I'm originally from God's Lake, but I live in Fisher River, Cree Nation, Fisher, Manitoba. That's where I settled down. I have 4 children. I got 8 grandchildren, and I just became another grandchild came on me. And then pretty soon I'm going to have a chapan, my first chapan, as old as I am. I enjoyed this. I really enjoyed myself when I was here. I think we all got along so well, all the people that I went to school with. I never regretted anything when I was here. You know, as far as I remember, I've never seen anything violent with anybody in all our students here. We are so happy. I don't know what happened for myself anyways, you know, as old as I am. I remember everybody. So I'm so glad to be here for a while. I don't know if I'll make it. I was here for the last few times too. I'm so glad to be here. And I met some of my friends that I went to school with. Not too many left. I love this place, you know. We used to play ball here all the time, you know, everything. And skate and play hockey, you know. It was so enjoyable. There's nothing, you know. We were at the church here on Westward, I think, one time to say prayers for all the people. Now, I'm so thankful to be here again. Today, I didn't think I was going to make it today. You know, this is the first time, you know, that I felt so great, even to hear some of our people that spoke the language. I'm so happy. Keep it up. Don't forget your language. That's what we are. You know, God, the Creator gave us all the languages in the world. You know, I always say to my children, try and speak your language. Don't forget, you know. I've been in Fisher River. I was married in Fisher River. You know, that's where I've been living for how many years now? Quite a while. Quite a while anyways. Got married there in 1968, yeah, and I know. And all the speakers that were here, all of them, and all the drum group here. I'm so happy to hear. We just started all. Keep it up. Teach your children all those things too. We need to bring that up. We need to bring all those things up. You know, because that's what we're doing in Fisher River now. We're full swing in our cultural and language in Fisher River now, you know. That's what we have to do now. So, my name is in this book. I wrote the story in here. And I wrote a story in this book. And so, did you see us? No, did you see Agusane? Thank you very much.
Want some help getting back? Thank you. Thank you so much to Elder Crate for sharing. If there are any other survivors who would like to come and share, we have this time set aside for you. So you're welcome to come and share.
Bonjour, Matilda Roulette Bame Dishnikas. I was only here for 1 year, and however, my education didn't stop. I kept learning because I knew the importance of education. However, because I came from another residential school where I suffered a lot of abuse, sexual abuse. So I couldn't continue, and it was I had a very good experience here, and I was the one particular nun. Really, I really enjoyed being with her because she nurtured I was a musical, and like I always used movement in my life, throughout my life, which I learned from my grandfather because he was a walker. So that's what I did too, and it is really throughout my life. That's what saved me, I guess, in essence, because I used the physical activity to help me with my trauma and my traumas. And I also, like, I'm still employed. I'm a wellness therapist, and but I'm still doing a lot of healing, personal healing, because I get triggered every now and then, and it's an ongoing healing. So, and I didn't teach my children to speak the language because I was ashamed. I was ashamed to be Native. I was ashamed to be a brown-skinned girl because that's what I learned, to be ashamed of my skin. And but I'm at a point now where I'm so proud of who I am because my mother left. She modeled kindness, and that's what I learned. She never told me to do this or that. She modeled the medicine wheel concept, and that's what I'm applying that to my life, the medicine wheel, and just using the 4 quadrants in my life. And I'm also very grateful to my husband who came into my life, because prior to meeting my husband, I was in several relationships. And my husband is Lyndon Bame. He's Caucasian. And I've had to travel to the Caucasian and Native roads. So that's what I have to do to this day. And I was listening to Negan Sinclair today on CBC, and he mentioned something about the wampum belt, where we walk two lives, I guess, 2 roads, and that's what I have to do today, and just accept things. I've also accepted the Creator in my life. My husband, on our way here, was talking about God, and it really, I could feel the feelings. I was getting angry, and I was getting annoyed when I heard the word God. And it just shows me today that I still have a lot of work to do. I used to hear good orderly direction, but I still thought about God because I couldn't understand. I so wanted to go to residential school because my aunties were going, and then I'm a very outgoing, social little girl, and I wanted to be where the action was, I guess. And I didn't. But when I got there, it just didn't turn out the way I had hoped. And but anyway, going back to my husband, he's been very supportive. He's been a very supportive Caucasian man, and I have 3 adult children and 12 grandchildren, and I have 18 great-grandchildren. So I have a very busy life, but I also, I'd like to emphasize what has really helped me is called dialectical behavior therapy, and that's really helped my trauma and being in the present. So if anyone is ever interested to learn about that approach. And I actually didn't plan on coming here today, but Creator has plans. I went to the gym, I think it was before 8. And then I checked, I used ChatGPT a lot. So and it showed that there was an event going on here. So my husband and I called him. I said, it starts at 10. So we were able to make it here. So I'm so glad we made it here. Like Creators, there's things happen for a reason. I'll end with that. So because I've been, I guess I've seen it. It actually happens. Yes. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for sharing and making that offer to share your therapy services. We still have time if there's anyone else who would like to come up and share. You're welcome to take some of this time this morning while we have the mic up and people listening. Thank you so much for being here. If there is someone else after I walk away from the mic, please let us know that you'd like to share. As long as we have the mic set up, we're still able to take some time for you. So thank you very much.
noche.